All right, traders. Hey, good morning and welcome on back here this Thursday, January 29th, nearing the end of the pay period, end of the month. Great to have Grant, Leda, Larry, got all of us just here in chat. Prem Kumar, Nabil, Margaret, Uday, got all of us here just joining us inside our live trading room. Of course, you can tell this is not Fausto's beautiful voice. He got my raspy voice here this morning. No, of course, Fausto is wheels up, in fact, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Popping up lower left as always. Just make sure to hit the follow and subscribe buttons down there, just at CybertradingU. But otherwise, Fausto is wheels up towards Toronto. So I believe he's already there. But nonetheless, we have a huge on-site event partner in collaboration with Moomoo, a huge online trading platform. I love them. They are incredible. I jumped on their platform like a couple weeks ago. And like with any platform, like literally with any person, it's tough to break old habits. And you might feel a little uncomfortable on any platform at first. This was a breeze. This was so smooth on Moomoo. Oh, this was nice. They're charting. They even have an order book, total view. In fact, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but if you're in the Toronto area, this is last call. I'm, of course, speaking to a niche crowd up north in Toronto specifically, but that's going to be in the Moomoo offices. That's later on this evening in about 8 hours from now. I got to get my math straight there at 6 p.m. Eastern up until 8:30 today. So with that in mind, if you're in the Canada, Toronto area, of course, we invite you to join us. A few seats remaining on that. I think about like 9 or 8 seats remaining. It's a decent sized venue. So when you think about that, all right, there's still some space left, but compared to how many people are actually going to be there, it's a huge turnout. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes from Fausto's side of things. Now, with that said, I'll tell you what, we did really good this morning in pre-market. A couple of different trades that we caught early on in the morning here. We had our pre-market list out there, the TRX. Jobby got crushed. USAR also got crushed. This XHLD had a pretty good pop. Nice move at first, but it seems like it's like taking a while for this to really try and break a higher high. And the longer that takes, quite frankly, not that great. Not good, really. So actually what I want to do briefly is actually just show, if you're inside our live trading room, you've seen our call outs already on this so far. But more for social media side of things. If you're not joining us exclusively inside our room, well, you're just kind of missing out a bit, right? Just at 8:30 in the morning, we called out the pop on the XHLD trade, going over a couple of different levels at least. Oh, I got my webcam blocking me here. How about this? See, there we go. There we go. Now it's showing it. Lower left was blocked, but now you can see on social media, hey, if you're just on there right now, you're missing out. You got to join us directly inside our room. We're calling this out right at the pop at 8:30, going over a couple of different levels to watch out for. I took a loss on this trade at first, and then I ended up jumping back in, and then I wiped that out and ended up flipping back into a profit. So it was based off this 420 level, more or less just volume buildup, consolidation. We do have our next resistance area around $5.50, $6, like kind of together. So that's ultimately my target on this trade. If it keeps with higher lows here, then certainly. But, at least otherwise, as this was pulling back, I thought it would happen sooner. So I ended up jumping in at first here, and then it pulled back. I ended up just cutting ties with it, expecting a lower low. This is some no-name company that, we don't know anything about. I mean, traded it yesterday, in fact. But other than that, it's just some low-float stock, low-float company. Let me pull this the gainers list out right now to show you the float here. Typically, a lot of these things are just flavor of the morning, flavor of the day, maybe even just flavor of the hour. 1.4 million share float. So can't trust it as far as you could throw it. So I don't mind cutting ties with it if it's not going to make a big move shortly after, right? That's exactly what we go through in class. Well, it ended up trying to come back up. And much like I do tell you in class also, if the stock keeps nipping and testing that level, and if it's a pretty significant level, you trust what you were looking at, right? You weren't just rushing into the trade, then maybe right place, wrong time, right? So it ended up making a better move here. I jumped back in. It was 500 shares. I took 250 out right at like 466. I felt pretty clean about the first half, but I thought it was going to run higher. I thought going into this meeting, this would be flying up towards that 550, 560. So it shook back down a bit. I'm not trying to juggle 18 things at once here, folks. I'm pitching our Moomoo events, tagging in for Fausto this morning in the meeting. If you've ever seen that halftime performer, Red Panda, the famous halftime performer at the basketball games, football games. I'm not trying to be like Red Panda, riding my unicycle, juggling 18 things at once. So I got out. I took the remaining half out. It was right around where? It was like 448. Took the second half out. Hey, if it makes this move here during this meeting, then I'll be happy to see it. If anyone's riding this out, it still technically is holding the higher low. Just be careful on this thing. It's already trading like nearly 20 million shares on the day. And again, it did pop yesterday. It's not our first time trading this thing, right? This thing was one of our movers yesterday, went from 150 up to nearly 4. So we'll go back to the 1 minute chart here. I got fat thumbs today. Yeah, so this ended up making a pretty decent move for us yesterday, more in the morning session, flattened out after reversal time. Didn't exactly reverse, but flattened out, and then made that next wave going into the 3:30 session. Actually, that's like a great screenshot. I'll take that for my classes later on. But otherwise, right now, just, hey, I'm going to put this on our list, but be careful on it. If it's not going to make higher lows, higher highs, then it's going to make a lower low in due time. You're playing musical chairs there. Real quick from Chris on YouTube right now. Is there a registration for that Moo event, Chris? Absolutely. We'll post that there for you in just a bit. Just give me a quick moment. I'll try and get that out to you inside the YouTube chat on social media. But you can go right to our homepage, cybertradinguniversity.com. It is right there. We'll get that posted, though, certainly on the social side. We got Wayne there joining us, George, and Chris, and of course, appreciate you, Leda. Shout out to our student Leda, as always, on the simulcast. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. We're going to get you, a webinar registration. I believe it's just in person. In person, Chris. My apologies there for later on today. That's up in Toronto. Yep. We'll let you know how that goes, though. We have a huge promotional, offer with Mumu to be announced very soon from now. So stay tuned, at least on that side of things. If you don't catch the live event later on today, at least you'll still take part in that promo. Now, we did catch a couple of great movers that we did have from yesterday. This was a nice little pre-market trade that we had early on this morning. But I'll tell you, we did really well. Fausto nailed the OKLO move. That was beautiful. Took a little while to get it going. Took a little while to get this going, but it ended up paying pretty nicely. Nasty shake down. We're going into the Fed meeting at that point, heading into the afternoon. But Fausto flag built higher lows, pinning up at first at this resistance 91, and it took a while, right? It wasn't clean. It wasn't like the most perfect one, but the OKLL, cheaper, went with it. So really nice, complementary move there. I'm sure SMR probably moved up also. We actually didn't even give too much focus on this trade even. It was more the OKLO, OKLL. We did great on Intel yesterday in the morning. That had a great pop. Leda had called that out right away. A beautiful call out from her. ASTS more as a swing trade. More as a swing trade with the Golden Dome project. They've been doing great up until that news came out and then just led them to explode way higher. So, that was one of the call outs that we also had yesterday. EOS, that was a nice push. More going into the afternoon. More going into the afternoon time, at least early afternoon after the Fed. So this is a stock also that's been a great swing trade. If you're not familiar with EOS, then U.S. energy storage based company, at least from what I know. But a very strong swing trade. Has been a good day trade too. We like it on both sides of the coin there. So, I guess both sides of the coin would be long and short, wouldn't it? I mean, I definitely don't like it short as much. I like it long more, but I like it both as a day trade and as a swing trade. But either way, I don't mind even putting this on our side list for the open today. The NAM trade, NAMM, U.S. mineral stock, rare earth, precious metal stock, ended up making a good squeeze in the afternoon session. But the stock also was more from the end of last week. We ended up doing pretty well on this trade from Thursday into Friday, if I'm not mistaken there, right? Or Wednesday into Thursday last week. But either way, another stock that's continuing to move up. Listen, this thing's up 700% since its first green candle there. This is seemingly a great swing trade. If you're in it from those prices, congratulations, right? It's like kind of similar to me on IBRX from 3, right? It's like, if you catch it right at the right place, the right time, and you could turn it into a swing trade, incredible. But that's not typically what happens. And typically for a stock that is up 700% in a week, it's going to pull back. You're going to see it consolidate, slow down. So, listen, it ended up having a great day yesterday. It's up even more this morning in pre-market a bit. I'll put it on our list again, for that reason. But if it pulls back at the open, just don't be too surprised. A little bit more profit taking going into the end of the week, maybe. So we got 2 stocks at least there, the NAM trade and also the XHLD. A couple shorts. Mm, a couple stocks that dropped off a little bit, right? I mean, Carvana got crushed, more expensive, but if you bought puts on that, then congratulations, that's a great trade. Humana, I think dropped off more with the United Healthcare, or maybe UNH popped. So I don't know why Humana ended up dropping off as much, but they got clipped yesterday into the next, actually from the day prior. Was this from Tuesday into Wednesday here yesterday? So this is even like a Fausto flag, lower highs, pulling back to this support, and then just at the open broke lower. So yeah, nice drop off at least there. We did really good though yesterday, and what we'll do is try and continue that momentum going into the open today. So let's just go right from the top of the gainer side here, see what we got. The XHLD, needless to be said, on there already. Keep it going. Now, typically after the Fed, a lot of traders like kind of think like, oh, okay, it's like game on again immediately. We're in a very bullish market, so that's like on our side. But wait till next week. I think after like next week, and then even with the earnings that we have that came out yesterday, let's see how those react. It's probably going to take like a day or so to kind of see true trend develop afterwards. This TRX stock, nice little move. Took a while to this break higher though. Just before, this thing's been like watching the grass grow throughout pre-market here in this tight little tiny 10-cent channel. So hopefully this has a lot more legs to it. I like it. Good trade for right now, but if it's a tease, we'll move on from it fast. But it makes the cut right now. BTIX dead. A lot of these stocks. Okay, that will take us to Meta at least. There we go. So we got to make some room for the large caps, right? So Meta ended up reporting not just good earnings, but they had some huge increase in capex. They're putting that towards AI infrastructure, a whole bunch of good stuff in between the actual numbers that came out. But with that, Meta had a big slingshot right away afterwards. It did pull back, but then it popped afterwards. I was watching it live right at 4 o'clock when I saw it tank. I did see Microsoft report bad. So when I saw Meta initially drop, I'm like, there's no way this can't be true. Like, I'm very bullish on this market. Don't get me wrong. So if Microsoft and Meta both were to have reported bad, I looked into the Meta numbers and then the headlines. I'm like, okay, this should be a slingshot. And the Meta trade indeed was a slingshot. Came right back on up nearly 10% this morning. So Meta, you could trade Meta more on the option side maybe, but we're gonna have our focus more on the ETFs, METU, FBL, both. Which one trades more volume? I think it's the METU. Trades like double the amount of shares right now compared to the other one. More than that even. So yeah, we'll go with Meta, just the actual stock, and then the METU. This is the ETF, double leveraged. All right, so now with that in mind, let me just cross my T's, dot my I's, get to the other large caps while we're at it. While we're just at it here, right? We're on Meta and Microsoft. Obviously, we'll find on the losers list. MSFT, I'm going to add that, and there's probably an ETF for that too. Tesla did pop. They did pop at first. It wouldn't shock me though if this comes down. It really wouldn't shock me. They did report their earnings that came out, but the big headline that came out of Tesla, let me ask our students because I want to quiz you. I want to see how much in the know you are without going to like Yahoo Finance or Benzinga Pro. Off the top of your head, do you know why Tesla moved so well yesterday? Aside from their earnings, any other headline come out? Sam says on the robo-taxis. Could be. There could be a lot more headlines than the one I'm thinking. That could certainly be it. Going to build robots. Tim agreeing with that. So it looks like there's that involved as well. They took a big stake in XAI. Tesla took a big stake in XAI. It's a private company right now, but they're going to go public later this year. It's like one of the most anticipated IPOs ever. It's the new Elon project, obviously, with like Grok and all that stuff. So let's see how big of a deal it was. Because I'm sure there's so much more headlines out there. There's upgrades and firms giving targets and a mishmash of different headlines. So, oh my God, I got to sift through all of this. I got to sift through all of this crap. Let's see. I don't have enough time to read all of this. Yeah, autonomous future. Let's see. Where's the, there we go. 2 billion. That's the number. 2 billion in XAI. There we go. Now, what happens when a company makes a big investment? What happens when a company buys another company out? You can kind of relate it to, Typically, that stock price drops a bit at first. Now it could go right back on up afterwards. So it's a weird combination of news. It's the earnings, it's the additional headline with the robots and the autonomous vehicles and stuff, right? But then also, Tesla's dropping at least $2 billion on their side of things into the XAI. It's not a true buyout, right? But just for them to make an investment, I feel like you could see a bit of a pullback here. So this really doesn't surprise me so much. Now, either way, we're just going to add MSFT. We're going to add Tesla. We got the TSLL for that, at least there. Of course, with Tesla, there's the TSLL. We'll focus more on that, at least to complement Tesla trade. And then on the loser side, we'll get to the Microsoft ETF, whatever that is. We'll find that on the loser side. Let's just keep going through the gainers list right now, though. We had to just go through all those large caps, at least there. The NOM looking good. Already talked about that. This is going up again, at least here a bit. AUST, nice move, in the after hours yesterday, trying to go back up a little bit more today, perhaps. I like the trend for right now, so we'll add it. You want to focus on up, and not even just up percentage-wise, but I'm talking like, trend up, at least even something like this, but a little slow. This is a little slow thing here, USEG. You also want to focus on a stock that might not, like watching the grass grow, watching the paint dry. All right, what's the Microsoft ETF? MSFL. All right, it's cheaper than Microsoft at least, so we'll go with that. We'll kind of add that with them. It's going to get to that there right away. So Jobby got decimated overnight, unfortunately, and hopefully they go back up soon. But they ended up doing a $1 billion offering. $1 billion. So typically stock offerings, they're pretty random. We don't know when they might happen. It's not really like an earnings date where they have it announced ahead of time. So for the time being, this thing is down huge. It remains a decent short. I posted the chart inside our live trading room. I'll just tell you right now, if you're on social, look to join us directly in our room for that. I'll put up our QR code as we wrap up this meeting here, but just join us in our room. You'll see the full commentary there. I posted a nice looking chart on Jobby. It's a good short down towards maybe even single digits. Maybe even down towards single digits. We'll see how it reacts right at the market open. Wait the first 5 minutes. So if it has a huge spike in slingshot, then we'll kind of see what happens at that stage. But trend is down, not great historical levels on the daily chart. I think it could be a good short. All right, what else we got here? Anything else down big enough? Like looking good. There's some news even came out on the rare earth side of things, wasn't there? A whole bunch of news came out last night on USAR, CRML. A lot of those got beat up bad too. Now, those have been very healthy charts long term. So, thankfully, it's easy to say this. They did make a good slingshot in the after hours. CRML did, USAR did, the UAMI did. They're all going to move together. They're not weak enough to be good shorts yet. But, I'd rather hold off on them at least going into the market open. And if we call them out afterwards, if we go through our main list initially and then we come to these, then no problem. Or maybe at 10:15, 10:30, they'll look to make a better move, and then we can call it out at that stage. At least for right now, we'll focus on the other trades first, but we'll definitely come back to them. All right, now with that in mind, we're cutting it closer towards the market open. I always yap too long here. So want to make sure that our students are good to go for the market open here. There's the USAR news. They also did a offering or financing of 1.5 billion there. I guess it's offering week this week. Tell you what, I've been warning traders on social media to watch out for IBRX to eventually do an offering. So I'm still in on 3/4 of that trade from the $3 price level. Been killing it on this, but watch, that offering news will come to IBRX and you'll see this down today, right? So I better follow my own advice there, maybe scale more out. Real quick, again, if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., what we're going to do is we're going to get that Moomoo registration link out to you because, again, it's kind of a niche crowd, at least if you're in Toronto. Look to join Fausto later on this evening, but he's going to be on stage with Moomoo. Huge collaboration event there. Let's see. There it is. There it is right there. So just post it right there on social. If you're in the live chat right now, click that link right there that's posted, and you'll have the chance to join Fausto at least later on this evening. All right, folks. But hey, best of luck trading going into the market open. Want to make sure our students are ready to go for the opening bell here with us, myself and Rich together. Fausto will be back tomorrow. I think he'll be back at least tomorrow in the morning. He's just traveling right now up towards Canada and getting ready for his big event. But at least with that, hey, we have a good market open ahead here, folks. So best of luck trading, and we'll be back on the mic in just a bit.